leadership journey started. All right. Today, we'll be sharing with you some models, and we'll be talking about three simple things actually. What are the drivers of leadership development? And then what are the areas you need to focus on in order to develop your leadership? All right, in order for you to be successful, effective as a leader. Now, why is this important? When you do this, you have within your hands or within your fingertips a tool for conducting your SWOT analysis and identifying the areas where you have a need to develop. And you also have a tool that enables you to focus on key, you know exactly the checklists and areas you need to focus on, in your leadership development. One of the things I also did back then when I started my leadership was the model at the time was the model by what do you call them now? Oh, the 66 Lominja competencies. How many of you have heard of the Lominja competencies? Yes. I went and photocopied the Lominja competencies and I posted them on my wardrobe. And every morning I'll recite them. I'll recite them and I'll go out there and try to practice them. Right. So by having a framework, I had something to benchmark my leadership behaviors and skills around. And that enabled me to focus my developmental effort. So tonight we'll also be introducing you to a very special framework, which is the Step Up framework. The Step Up framework is the model that we use here at the Good to Great Managers for leadership development. It is also what we use for our coaching program, for our coaching and mentorship program. And so we thought, let's talk about it. This will probably be the first time we'll be talking about the Step Up model. And then we'll be presenting it to you. And hopefully you'll find it useful and for your own personal leadership development. And it covers leadership for competencies for the 21st century leader. This is based on scientific research. It's not just some random collection of competencies. Right? I've been at these things. I've, in my experience, developed several competency models for several organizations. All right, and this is a gift that we're going to be giving out to you today. So, on set with me today is, like I said earlier, we have a guest joining us from Palestine. He left from UAE to Palestine this morning. And as we speak, it's about, past 10 o'clock in Palestine, but he's up so that he can
participate. It's in UAE. It's in UAE.
UAE.
Yes, actually.
Okay, so that
is. I'm now in UAE. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Samara.
Yeah, thank you, doctor, and thank you for having me today. I'm happy to see some of my colleagues in the latest cohort in November, Christian, and the colleagues here. Yeah, I remember this wonderful days and time spent together, having interchanging and sharing the knowledge and experience and the ideas about leadership under your guidelines and your highly valued staff. Yeah, actually, what you have said is according to my, let's say, simple understanding, it's the basic and the heart of Step Up model, to be aware of the all four letters that comes from the, let's say, social, technical, and other factors that we are talking to, like personal drivers and economic drivers. For me, as a basic baseline for leadership development in this century, we have to have this gradual understanding that should be integrated to each other with each other factors and other factors from other models to integrate with the competencies for the leadership. Let's say we have to have these social drivers, these technology drivers, and personal drivers. We will have a quick review to discuss in this quick time, a quick session about these factors and what does implies. But from now we are targeting to have this conclusion that these are the four integrated factors that should work together to build up and to give the high impact and the success of a leader and the by result for the team that they are going toward the same goal, the common goal, and by result overall organization will have this high valued impact.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And with that, I'm just going to go straight into the slides for today so that we will just see what Tamar is referring to. All right. So I'll just take us through like a 15 minutes walk through this step up model. All right. But that is not without, first of all, saying one or two things about leadership. Okay, I like to start sessions like this, having a simple conversation around what leadership is and what it means to us, so that we have a basis for the conversation we are having. So, okay, so up here I have. We're going to be looking at three modules: leadership defined, 21st century leadership, step and step up, and then we're going to be taking some questions and answers and looking at some examples, right? So why is leadership important? Just like I said earlier, John Maxwell said in his book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, that everything rises and falls on leadership. And he said it's everything, okay? The leader is the one that makes or brings about the difference between just a group and a team. Or in other words, the difference between a team and a group is leadership, right? Where you see an organization that is doing very well or one that is doing very poorly, what makes the difference is leadership. And that's why we said leadership is the most sought after commodity in the world, because all around us, the ability of man to achieve the greatest feats in the world comes from his or our ability to come together, all right, as one powerful force. And the only way that can happen is when there is a leader. The leader is the catalyst for unity. The leader is the one that brings about the synergy required to multiply, and of course, not just multiply, but exponentially multiply the effect of a group. I mean, in a normal group, 1 + 1 would be 2. But in a team that has been made possible by an effective leader, 1 + 1 can become 1,000. And that's the type of group team dynamic or synergy that we need or we are looking for in the world. And that's why nations where you have great leaders eventually become great nations. Organizations where you have great leaders become the best and the leaders in their industry. Families where there are great leaders become great homes. So everything starts and rests with leadership. Organizations are the secret of exponential impact in the world, and the only set of individuals that can bring about great organizations are great leaders. So leadership is very, very powerful. Leadership is very important. But at an individual level, Maxwell has this also to say that the lower an individual's ability to lead, the lower they lead on their potential. So the more your leadership, the more successful you can become. The lower your leadership, the chance, I mean, the more the chances that you might just either become a mediocre or actually live below the line. So as an individual, if you want to be successful, just like I said earlier when I was sharing my own little story, from, way back secondary school, every time I excelled, it was because I learned and practiced leadership. And so the only way we can continue to succeed as individuals and the only way we can continue to lead as organizations is if we practice leadership. Okay. So, like I said earlier, over the years, many people have attempted to define the concept. If you look here, you see that the definition of leadership has evolved over time, even with the various theories of leadership. And like I said, from the eras of the born great theories, where leaders were thought to be, leadership was thought to be a gift from the gods, all right? Where people wielded influence. People thought these guys had some magic that was from the other side, all right? But over time, they found out that it goes beyond that. And in fact, sometimes those leaders who they thought were infallible, who they thought were divine, who they thought were, were gods, eventually became fallible, all right? So you remember the eras of Achilles, if you know the Achilles heel, right? Achilles was thought to be so formidable and impregnable and untouchable, because when he was young, the story was that one of the gods, the Roman gods, said this was a special child and asked the mother to have him dipped in some special pool. And when he was dipped in that pool, he came out and became a warrior that no arrow could penetrate. But sadly, for the mom to dip Achilles in the pool, she had to hold on to his heels. And that point where he held on to his heels was not touched by the water of the pool. And so when he came out, that became his weak point. And so at some battle, one of the other Roman heroes targeted his heel and shot an arrow, and that's how Achilles died. All right. So back in the days, there were those myths that leadership was a gift from the gods, and this is common. If you look at ancient Egypt, most of the pharaohs were thought of as God. If you look at Africa, most of our kings or chiefs are thought of as gods. All around the world, and that was what also informed some of the traditional caste system or segmentation in some societies, where they believe that if you're born to a particular family, you are special and you are probably better than those from another set of family. So they are the caste system, the sect, and all of that. And even if you think about Hitler, most of his theories around the superiority of the German came from those thinking and beliefs that, they had certain traits, all right? Again, that was now even leadership shifting from being a gift of the God to traits. So then they began to identify traits like, thin lips, light skin, white hair, all sorts, as the traits of a leader, and size, height, and all that. So the theory moves quickly from the superstition of being a gift from the gods to being some traits, some special features that stood leaders out. But again, they found out that these guys began to fall short, all right? And especially as time went on, as we moved from the agricultural age into the industrial age, at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, it became apparent that there are certain skills that are required that were not based on, of course, back in the agricultural age, a lot of the focus was on strength, physical strength. And when people went to war, they needed strength to become, valiant in battle. But as the world moved into the industrial age and into the knowledge age, more of the resource that men relied on to be successful were more intellectual, all right, and behavioral. And so size became irrelevant, all right? And so, I actually taking our time to say this, to help you see that this leadership definition, or how we looked at leadership, had changed with time based on the influence of the economy and other socioeconomic factors, all right? And especially with the evolution of the industrial age and everything. So, and of course, like I was saying earlier, around the 1900s, more and more information were gathered. In fact, the traits theory lasted up to 100 years, up to a century, right? Where many of the leadership experts were collecting all the traits that made for being a great leader. And after that, of course, the whole theory transitioned to skills, all right? And the focus became skills. And then we began to look for the skills that leaders possess that stood them out. And a lot of theories were built around that. None of that. Up until now, and of course, right now, the focus mostly is on styles, all right? And the styles, we have situational leadership styles, we have autocratic leadership styles, and we have democratic leadership styles and all of that. So a whole lot of evolution has taken place. But again, I said that to bring us to this modern day definition, which for me is what I have held on to, or what I have come to settle to be my last bus stop for leadership, because it contains all the components of leadership that are required. It says that leadership is a process by which an individual mobilizes others to achieve a common objective. That great leaders inspire and motivate their teams to overcome challenges and reach higher levels of performance. Leadership is characterized by vision. So a leader must have a vision. Then influence. A leader must have the influence. And that is like one of the most critical aspects of leadership, because leadership is about being able to influence others to help achieve the vision. Now, how you wield that influence is now what is the problem. You can wield influence the negative way. I used to tell people that if you were driving your car, or you had your car parked somewhere, and somebody put a gun on your head and say, "Give me your key or I shoot you," you will obey him, right? But that's not because you respect him, or because you want to follow him, or you want to align to him or anything. You did what he said you should do because what you were under duress. Now that is influence, or it's a negative influence. So influence can be positive, influence can be negative. How you wield your influence is what then matters. In today's world, we have moved from the era where influence was by coercion, was by possessing the power to punish and to reward, to an era where influence is by social investment. All right? For people to follow you, you must have done something for them, and they must give you permission. If you also look at Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership, he said the first level is position. That is where the power of coercion, becomes useful. But as you move up, you need permission, and people will give you permission only because of what you've done for them. Okay, and that's why I tell people that, look, leadership is about giving. If you have nothing to give, nobody will follow you. And don't be fooled. Nobody follows you for nothing. People follow you for what you can offer. So you must have something to offer. Either you're offering knowledge, you're offering wisdom, you're offering protection, you're offering security, you're offering physiological needs, you have money, and people need your money. You must have something that makes people's lives better. And because of that, they come to you. And then they want to do what you want them to do. And of course, not that you should have them alone, you must give it to them. You must add meaning to their lives. Then they will give you permission to lead them. So that is voluntary leadership. All right? We used to talk about this, that back in the days, the colonial masters came to Africa and probably forced some people up to the other side, to work. It was by coercion. They had guns and everything. But now the place is so beautiful and everything and all that. And people actually try to steal. I mean, they stow away in aircraft, under ships, in cars, all trying to get into America or trying to get into Europe. Nobody is coercing them now. Now they are trying to go because of some self-interest. All right? So that is influence. So how do you cook up influence? In today's era, you must know how to cook up influence without coercing people. And that is why you're in this class. All right? And that's what we're going to be talking about when we talk about step up. All right? So leadership, like Maxwell said, you see, I'm referring to Maxwell a lot. I think he did a lot of wonderful work around leadership. He said leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. But how you arrive at your influence is very, very important. All right? And we in Good to Great have come up with Step Up. We believe that for you to be influential in today's world, you have to have Step Up. You have to step up. All right? And we'll talk about that later. Then motivation. All right? Leadership must of necessity be motivating. Effective leaders understand what drives their teams and how to align individual motivations with organizational goals. So you all know the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Right? At the base is the physiological needs: food, shelter, clothing, drugs, sleep, and all of that. And all the way to self-actualization. You must have something that that motivates people. You must know what motivates people and either promise to offer them those things or be actually able to offer them those things. And then they will willingly follow you. All right? And they will do what you want them to do. I mean, you want them to do. Now, again, leadership, like we said, is usually positioned in such a way that you are pursuing a goal or a vision that meets the interest of all. All right? So whatever vision you are pursuing, whatever goals you are chasing, is assumed that it is of mutual interest to you and the followers. If that has been established, if the followers are able to establish that, then they'll follow you. So that's what you need in the office. That's what you need at home. That's what you need in society. You must at every time, if you are going to be a real leader, not one that is compelling people to follow them because of their muscle, or because you can do harm to people, or because you are so toxic, or because you are so brash, or because people are afraid of you, because when you decide to spit fire, or because you know somebody and you can get people into trouble. Whatever result you get that way is not modern leadership. What you are practicing is old-fashioned style leadership. All right, collaboration. The leader often involves bringing people together. So a leader must bring people together, all right? And like we said, that is one of the powers of leaders, because the fact that the leader is able to make many people work together and synergize to produce a result that is bigger than the result of one person. Someone mentioned that leadership, in a group, in a team, the sum total, the output of the team should be greater than the output of this, it should be greater than the sum total of the individual outputs. Yes, let me summarize it. Let me paraphrase it that way. The output of a team should be greater than the sum, all right, of the individual output of the team members. So in other words, whatever everybody has to bring, whatever everybody has to bring to the table, when put together, should not compare to what should happen when the team is actually working together effectively. All right? Your individual contributions should not equate, should not come near, or the sum total of your individual contribution should not come near what the output of the group should be. That is what a teamwork can produce. And only leaders can bring about such effective teamwork. So leaders are wonderful. And this is, for me, the best definition of leadership as well. Now, but leadership is the most challenging and most difficult responsibility in the world. All right? I put this picture there to just make you see what it can feel like. And why is that so? Number one, as a leader, you have to get things done through people. People of different backgrounds, different character. Some people who don't want to even follow you or obey you. Some people who don't want to even go to where you are going to. Some people who don't even believe in you. Some people who don't like you. Some people who are incompetent. Some people who have wrong character. As a leader, you have to get things done through these people. How is that possible? On the other hand, is the fact that a leader has to work within a context, social context, political context, technological context, and so many other contexts. if you're an organizational leader, you work in an industry. You have all the five forces, the Porter's five forces all battling together. You have to deal with political issues. You have to deal with the regulators. You have to deal with competitors. You have to deal with changing technology. You have to deal with all sorts of things. So the fact that you have to work under that type of terrain, that ever dynamic terrain, which many have described as a VUCA terrain, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. The fact that you have to walk under that terrain means that you are walking on a shaky, and that means that what you can fall or you can fail at any time. So you see, leadership is a very powerful balancing act. Then you have your personal life to manage as well. All right, and you could be married with children and all that, and you belong to a family, you belong to society, you belong to a community, you belong to a tribe, you know, and you have to deal with all of that. So leadership is a very, very difficult job, very, very difficult one. And so for you to be successful as a leader in the 21st century, you've got to be able to cope with all these challenges, and you've got to be able to win. But one of the ways to cope with all these challenges is for you to be able to even identify the challenges. Somebody said that if you're able to name the game, then you can play the game. And that's why we put together this model called the STEP model. STEP is more or less what Michael Porter did when he came up with the PEST, all right? PEST, like you all know, is the political, economic, social, and all of that Porter came up with to help leaders identify the forces that are at play in the macro industrial environment of their business. What we have done for you is also to help you identify, what we have done is come up with a framework to enable you as a leader, identify the forces you are dealing with, the forces that are shaping the terrain in which you are operating, the forces which are the drivers for the reason why, what are they, that are serving as a reason why you must develop yourself. S stands for social or societal drivers. It includes trends like, of course, you all have heard of diversity, inclusion, equity, the issue of sustainability, we have the ESG concept, and all these things, all these various trends that keep coming up every day. These are all people-related trends. We have things like workforce dynamics. Today, we hear that there are about 6 generations of people in the workplace, and the new generation of people coming into the workplace, the Zs, of course, are already here, the Alphas, we're starting all over again and everything. These individuals come with their peculiarities and all of that. These are all social factors, all right? And then the fact that there are certain trends that come up and everything. Today, recently, I hear a number of organizations are doing away with the diversity, inclusion, and what do you call it? Is it equity programs? And in my view, it looks like it has, the time for that idea has come to an end, and maybe it's time to birth another idea. And I think one of the new things they've been putting forward is MEI, which is meritocracy, inclusion, and equity. And now these decisions have been made for various reasons. DEI has probably failed in certain areas, and some people are not, I begin to see like a Cobra effect, all right? And so that's changing. Now, it is changing because STEP is always changing. The leadership step is always changing. So that's why it feels like this guy that is, that is moving on the water, what do you call it? This water game that he's playing here is called inflatable water games, right? So that's, the path of a leader is always shaking. It's always moving. It's things that there are events that are shaping the terrain in which you have to operate as a leader, and you have to adapt. You have to upskill in order to be able to cope. The second thing is technological drivers, automation, artificial intelligence, big data analytics, machine learning, IoT, all sorts of new age trends in the technological space. All right. If you are not a leader that is not only learning and adapting to the new technology, but also even championing it among your workforce, you cannot get the best of it. If as a CEO today, you are not driving AI in your organization, and that's why my friend Joel is running some AI program. I think they're running for free. If you find that flyer, I advise you to attend that program. It's beautiful. All right. You should be learning actively AI and also coming up with a transformation program to implement AI in your organization. I remember back in the day when we had to transition my organization back then from just a telco to a digital organization. We had to embrace digitization. We had to. So a leader, I mean, imagine if you are stuck in the era of typewriters and computers came and you say, no, I prefer the old way, and everything. So technology is dynamic, and whatever industry you belong to, you got to flow with the recent and the latest technology in your space. You got to learn it, you got to promote it. Else you become a dinosaur. Economic drivers, economic drivers, globalization, changing consumer preferences, disruptive business models. These are all things that a leader has to cope with. These are the reasons why you must upskill. These are the reasons why you must add value to yourself. I remember making an effort to understand economics. I remember my first MBA, 70% of it was financed by my company then, thanks to them. But it opened my eyes to financial management. And honestly, if you're a leader and you have not done an MBA, you better go and get your MBA. You have no business running a business without an MBA, right? I tell people that every time. I had gotten my MBA even before I became a manager. And I won't hire a manager if you have not completed an MBA. So go get an MBA. Because in an MBA, you are taught all the levers of the business: HR, finance, marketing, all the levers, so that you are on top of the business. And this is where you learn all the economics. In fact, for you to be an effective leader, go and take an extra course in economics and learn how the market works, so that you can, I mean, are you not planning to become a CEO? You can't be a CEO if you don't understand how the market works. How will you steer your company to profitability? All right, go and learn some finances. How will you balance the books? You don't even understand financial statement. How will you cope? So extremely important that you upskill in order to be able to deal with and excel in the economic terrain of your business. Then personal drivers. Like I said earlier, you also have a lot of personal things to deal with. But more than that, as an individual, your ability to be self-aware, building your emotional intelligence, which of course has embedded in it self-awareness, social awareness, empathy, self-regulation, all right, and your ability to influence people, all right, communication, which is an extremely important leadership competency, because again, you have to communicate your expectation to your people, and the more effective you are doing that, the more effective you are as a leader, all right, very, very powerful skill, all right, collaboration, the need for collaboration. All right, like we said earlier, a leader must deliver collaboration. A leader does not divide the team. And then adaptation, your ability to be adaptable, and flexible, and all that. These are all. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you PEST. I mean, STEP, the acronym that captures the terrain in which a leader operates. The acronym that captures the challenges that befalls a leader as they do their work. Before I proceed to the competency model, all right, because step up is the competency model that helps you to cope with step, all right? So you have a step, so you step up, eh? All right, so let me invite Tama to probably, can we have your views around step, what comes to mind? What are some of the step trends that are affecting leaders today, especially in one part of the world? Please.
Yeah. Thank you, Doctor. Actually, you have covered the the whole critical factors regarding steps, but what, and this you have presented a wonderful information for everybody, but actually this the key factor or the key issue in the step model, which is the key factor, the key success factor for a leader, and to have this concept moving from a group to a team, toward a team, is to master the step model through having in-depth knowledge. Okay,
Okay, Tama, can we have more volume on your side?
okay.
Maybe
Can you hear me now?
Okay, it's a lot better. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Because I'm in the hotel and it's midnight. I'm not trying to
Oh, so
bother the.
sorry.
No
So
problem. Actually, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. Actually, doctor, and for our colleagues attending us, that in order to move from a group toward a team, and to be a, let's say, a real leader, we have to have this, according to the information you have presented now. We have to master the drivers of the step up models, mentioning the and covering the overall weapons and knowledge that a leader should master. And the critical thing, and the, let's say, the alert that should every leader should know, that reading or mastering the driving factors is not the end of the story. As you mentioned, doctor, we have to keep up knowledge, updating our knowledge,
right.
especially in the factors like the technology drivers, economic drivers.
Yeah.
Mentioning that the factors you mentioned and the examples under each factor is a sample of what can be learned by a leader to succeed. So you can have the challenges according regarding globalization, also the inflation, also the financial aspects, as you mentioned. Leaders should update the information and the knowledge and the new trends in technology, in social behavior, in personal drivers, how to deal with emotional intelligence, how to communicate, how the communication is integrated with technology, also to
Yeah.
have the most efficient, effective leadership styles and leadership approaches throughout the organization toward having them from people to team. So I do believe that the challenges that is facing the leader or the people wants to be a leader is how to integrate and how to cover all these factors to group them in one strategic model that could be followed. This is the real challenge for the leader. You can learn and you can read about sectorial drivers. You can uh, uh, you can read about technology, but the key factors you mentioned before, you were practicing, and every leader should practice and try to integrate every these four factors together to have the overall holistic approach in leadership.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I agree with you completely. So I haven't talked about the challenges of leadership and the things that are putting pressure on every one of us as leaders. Let's look at the leadership competency framework. Um, and like I said, we have Step Up, all right, the 21st century leadership competencies framework. And what does Step Up stand for? S stands for strategic contextual intelligence, strategic thinking and contextual intelligence. The ability to manage complex challenges and systems. That is the first very critical skill that every leader must develop. Speed of change, the ability to navigate and lead through rapid change. So change and transformation management is very critical, right? One of my recent training program was for a huge oil and gas group in my country that was making a transition from just being a corporation to a public limited liability company. and I had the opportunity to take some of the leaders on change management. And we looked at about 5 different change management modules, just equipping them and getting them ready for the dynamics of that change. And luckily, they are making a fantastic progress with the transformation of that organization today, you know. And like I said, I've also been involved in those kind of transformations in the past, even with my, you know, in my former company, leading telecoms company in the country. A company that must survive is one that must continue to change and transform. And only leaders with exceptional change management skills are the ones that can bring about these changes or this rapid and agile change. Diversity, ability to embrace and manage diverse perspective and experiences. So like we said before, look, you have this group of people that you have to get your result achieved through different backgrounds, different socioeconomic orientation, different mindset, different religion, different ethnic groups, different upbringing, different education, and there are different levels of competency. You got to be able to deal, right? You got to be able to deal. You got to create an atmosphere that is all inclusive. All right. So having strategic thinking and contextual intelligence is very key. Then transparency, building trust through open communication, and and running a transparent organization. We all have heard that trust, respect are the base of every effective organization or team. And we also have heard that the basis of most toxic teams are where there are no trust and there are no respect. So, and of course, culture is the shadow of the leader. So if you want a climate that smacks of trust and respect for individuals, you must have a leader that demonstrates and fosters trust, transparency, and respect for everybody. So this is very, very key. As a leader, you must be contextually intelligent. You must understand the market in which you're operating. You must understand the workforce that you're working with. You must understand, your situation. Then you must also be able to project into the future. All right. I'm sure some of us are familiar with the GROW model. GROW is the model that is used in most coaching and mentorship programs. G stands for goal, R stands for reality, right? O stands for opportunities, and W stands for what next. Now, you have to start with goal. And for you to be able to project goals, set goals, you must be a strategic thinker. All right? You must be capable of strategic thinking. All right? And but for you to also assess your realities, that using your SWOT analysis, or sorting your pesticide and sorting your 7S. All right? You must be familiar with all these very powerful tools that can be used for sorting your context. And then you must know all the people tools, models also for sorting your people context. You must be familiar with the generations in the workplace. You must be familiar with your what do you call it? With your 9-box matrix. So a leader, you got to your toolbox needs to be full of strategic tools and contextual management tools. All right, and you've got to be emotionally intelligent. All right. Then, of course, we have also said that you must be technically competent. And there are 3 types of skills that leadership theorists have identified over the years. We have the technical skills, the social skills, and then we have the strategic skills. All right. And I think this is saying, look, be good at everything. And of course, we need these skills at various proportion depending on how high we are in the organization. At the lower level, you need plenty technical skills and mid social skills and very small strategic skills. As you go up the ladder, as you're at the top of the ladder, you need very fewer technical skills, or your proficiency there doesn't need to be like way up there. If you have it, I mean, if you are the best technically, fantastic. That's a plus. But then you don't need, it's not required that much. But then you need a lot of strategic conceptual skills, and of course, a lot of social skills in order to do well. So very, very, very important that if you are going to be successful in this time and age, you must build the skills, the technical skills that you need to do your job well. I'm going to be asking us to share with us, or just where you are, just share with me in the chat room, what are the technical skills that are relevant in your own space? Please share with us, share in your own space, what are the technical skills that you require or you find very useful in your own space? Please go to the chat room and share with us. And then you have emotional intelligence. Of course, that's the mother of all. That's how we connect to the team. Right? That's how we build the climate of our team. Right? Without the people, you can't do nothing. So you can picture this as the leader using three things. He's using the future, he's using the current situation, he's using technology, he's also using people to achieve the vision that helps to achieve the common goal or that meets the common interest of the followers. So leadership is not an easy job. Yeah, that's why the perks are fantastic. That's why there's so much respect around the job. Well, some people get into those jobs without being ready for it. And so they are unable to play the balancing game, right? And so they fall flat. Then people management, extremely important. Changing expectations of the workforce, the EVP, people are having different expectations of what they should get at work every day. Understanding and meeting the evolving needs and expectations of employees. Customer sophistication, or CVP, customer value proposition. All right? Understanding and meeting the evolving needs and expectations of customers. Shareholders and stakeholders. All right? Understanding and meeting the needs of business stakeholders and partners. So these are the three sets of people you have to manage as you go up the ladder. So we're not just talking about your employees. All right? There are, I mean, you know, I also have this model called the 5P. All right? People, process, profit, prospects. Yeah, I mean, prospect, profit, and partners. All right? You need a leader leverages the 5Ps for productivity. And so the key element of it is people. You can't do anything without people. So you must continue to build your people management skills. There's a training we have called the people management framework, where we say as a leader, you must do 4 things with people. You must know them, focus them, guide them, recognize them. If you go to stakeholder management, there are a lot of things there, negotiation skills. There are a lot of fantastic skills you need to pick up so that you can cope with them. Then it comes to customer, you must be customer centric. You must understand the CVP, you must understand the customer journey. You must understand it. I was lucky and fortunate to have started my career in customer service. I started at the front line. And I moved from the front line to HR. So I had the opportunity to deal with, first of all, the customers, then I had to deal with the people of the organization. All right. And then eventually I had to lead my first organization in the consultancy space. And I had to deal with the economy, I have to deal with the country, I have to deal with stakeholders and government and everything. And it was a different experience. Imagine moving to that level and I want to take the same skills I used to manage the customers to go and manage. Yeah, there are some transferable skills, but not everything. There's some new knowledge to acquire, some new skills to learn. And so, I mean, your development needs to be continuous. Okay? And then, of course, you have understanding sustainability and CSR. All right? We talk about ESG. Today, most investors will not invest in your organization if you don't do ESG, or you don't do DEI, or you don't do one of these sustainability programs. Because they talk about triple P these days: people, planet, and profit, right? I mean, there's so much focus on we making a profit sustainably. And so investors are careful to put their money in organizations that are socially and environmentally responsible. All right. So you need to learn these things. You can't ignore, you can't close your eyes and watch from a distance. You got to know them. All right. And then of course, personal development. Above all, personal development is a skill which demands that you need continuously conduct your own SWOT analysis and apply yourself to interventions to improve your skills, your knowledge, and your attitude. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Step Up. And like I said, the advantage of this model is that we use it to craft all our programs at the Good to Great Managers, group. And that's why recently we said, okay, look, let's just stop all the noise and let's reorganize and be more deliberate at developing our people. And so we're introducing a lot of new programs, things around coaching. All right, we have coaching programs. Again, like I said, coaching and mentorship programs under the Rising Stars, all built around the Step Up. We have the Gold Circle. The Gold Circle are those who want to be handheld and they want us to work closely with them to enable them to succeed in the year. I have about 7 members, about 5 members there already, who have said, look, coach, guide us, all right? Whenever we need help, whenever we need a lifeline. You see, this leadership journey is a difficult one. You can't do it alone, all right? They can call and they will get a response, all right? And we have different plans. We have a 6 months plan. We have a 1-year plan. You can subscribe for any of the plan for the Golden Circle. And for the General House, we have the Leadership Colloquium, which is you are attending now. And so we'll have 1 session every month, the last Friday of every month. So if you are here for the first time, after the session, join the circle and get ready to always be here once every month. We're going to be teaching you for free leadership essentials that will help you to succeed at your job. All right. And if you want to run a great organization, if you are the MD or CEO of an organization and you want to spend less on training your leaders, put all of them on the circle. Put all of them on the Good to Great Manager circle. We will train them for you for free. Of course, we encourage you to train them to invest in their training. But here's a platform that can provide some help, especially for those who are running SMEs. Most SMEs do not probably have the budget to cope with important trainings. But we give you world-class trainings here that can serve you, all right? And you don't have to pay a dime for. We're bringing in speakers from all over the world. The Good to Great Managers Circle is a global platform. You can see Tama is here from the United Arab Emirates, all right? We have other members from different parts of the world, Africa, South Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Uganda. We have people from all over the world, the US, everywhere. So your team members have an opportunity not only to learn global best practice, but also to network with people globally. So on this platform that I met Tamar, on this platform that I met Dr. Tariq, on this platform I met so many of the wonderful friends I have today from all over the world. All right, so this is, there's no excuse for not investing in your people. All you need to do is invite them. And we're not going to charge them anything. All right, so don't be afraid. Nobody's going to ask for your money. Nobody's going to sell you anything that you don't need. The only things we sell here, it's not even compulsory. But I mean, if you look at it and you think you need it, of course, why not? All right. Another free program we have is the Book Hangout. We give out a book every month, and we encourage all our members to go and read them. And we're supposed to have a review today, but I don't know whether we'll have the time for that. All right. Well, maybe a short one before we go. But there was a book, a beautiful book, very powerful book. I hope we all took our time to read that book. They say readers are leaders. And so it's important that you read if you want to succeed. Of course, we just talked about the P of Step Up. You must be personal, you must embrace personal development. So Book and Guide is one very important program. Then Impact Missions. Impact Missions is our once in a year CSR program. One of the things that has become very common in the world today is social impact. When I went to Walden to do my first doctoral, we were all encouraged to have a social impact program. And that's where the Good to Great Manager circle was born. They said we must have something we do for society, not for profit, but just as a social investment program. All right? You must learn to give. Like I told you, leadership is about giving. A lot of times you can start by giving for no reason, for no profit, and guess what? You end up in profit. Mother Teresa resigned from her job to go and feed the poor. But there are some people who are CEOs of companies today that are not as popular as Mother Teresa. When Mandela set out to set his people free in South Africa, he wasn't planning to make a profit, but there are so many wealthy entrepreneurs today that are nowhere near Mandela in terms of greatness. So on the circle, we teach our people to have a heart. Have a heart. Learn to give without needing return or asking for something. So when people come to the circle, they are afraid to contribute because they are wondering, there must be a catch somewhere. There must be a scam somewhere. You know, Tama, you know, some people think that there's a catch somewhere. So they're always afraid to contribute. No, there's no catch. We're not trying to catch you. Just come, eat, drink, have fun for free. Yes, it's free. Okay, there's no catch. Another program we have that is free is the Rising Star, where we can mentor you and can coach you for free. So all this, the whole essence of this is we're trying to promote leadership, all right, the quality of leadership in our workplaces. We say our vision is to put a leader in every chair, in every organization. And we are building leaders. Our mission is to build leaders, great leaders, who will lead great organizations and make great impact in the world. That's our vision and mission. So don't be afraid. Our programs that are charged or built are also designed in such a way that even our members can benefit. All right, because again, we need to pay some bills and everything and keep things running. So one of them is Sprint. Sprint is our global leadership development program. Very powerful program. Let me ask Tama to tell us, how was your experience at Sprint? I mean, it was one of the pioneer calls. Please tell us your experience at Sprint.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, I had. I'm very thankful to the opportunity that I have joined the Spirit cohort in let's say last November. Actually, I have a great experience because I have shared and I have exchanged knowledge among the wonderful, let's say, faculty team. They shared the knowledge without any restrictions and opened the discussion through all the sessions and interchanging the knowledge. Also, they have the coaches and let's say the participants. I'm not telling that they are trainees. They were great colleagues, and it's my first experience to interact with our colleagues from Africa, like my colleague Christian and Rosemary and others. I do remember the cooperation we have experienced, the collaboration during the sessions, during the WhatsApp group. It was a great experience because we felt all like a family member throughout our journey, and it was a great experience sharing the knowledge, knowing each other culture and the mindset regarding the leadership according to each perspective, each of us perspective, sharing the common, let's say, best practice and the best result. It was a great experience actually for me.
Thank you. You know, imagine you heard him, and honestly, he's not bluffing. He's not trying to sell the program. We ended the program, and everybody felt like a family. Imagine Tama is in UAE. You have someone from Ghana. Yeah, the kids was Ghana. Who else? You know, then it was Christian. And at the end of the day, we had people who had to post personal issues, and everybody, we all left like one big happy family. I mean, so you see, and at the beginning of the program, it didn't look like it was going to be like that, right? But as the program progressed, people, you know, integrated. There were, you know, that's what we're talking about,
Doctor,
building. Yeah, building a social
Actually,
now.
I still remember the case when I was having a heavy flu, and everybody was just asking attending to me about my health while I was not able to communicate in full cooperation. Actually, yeah, we felt like family members in this group.
Yeah, and then we welcomed the new baby at that period, right? And we're all happy about it. And then there was
Yeah.
someone who maybe had an accident and all sort of, but we left with like one big happy family. But then the learning was so intense too. I mean, you can ask Tama, it was so intense. The case studies, the assignments, they were begging for time and everything, and then of course everything was graded strictly, and incidentally, Tama came out all the best students too, alongside one other lady, and everything. But guess what? Tama is an MBA. Tama is a very popular, highly known speaker. He's in the learning profession. He consults for different organizations. So you think Tama came in, Tama said, no, but I want to go through this program. And I was like, wow. So I mean, go check him out. Go look him up on LinkedIn. He's a big star. I mean, he's a superstar. But while he was on the program, he took one of his, he got one of his, a job, a brief from his job, a client, and he posted the curriculum and said, hey guys, help me check. What do you guys think? And we just gave him some of our perspective. And guess what? He went to make some money, and he came to tell us, hey, he made some money from the things he learned. We had fun. So Sprint is coming up from
Can
March.
I say something to Sprint?
Oh, who is this?
Christian.
Oh, Christian. Okay, that's one of our alumni.
Tama.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so again, right? So for me, right, the training so I was actually trying to focus more on a particular skill acquisition. Like I've been asking myself about self-development, and I was trying to see if I could actually go for a certain skill. But after attending sprints, there was something I posed that with these sprints, with the knowledge I've gotten about leadership, I can do any business without knowing anything about the business. Because the summary of what I've learned from sprints is that with the skill of leadership, you could actually enter into any business. All you're doing is the ability to have the vision, the ability to communicate the vision to professionals, people, smartest people that can drive the vision. You are not even the one that doing different things to make sure that the vision is achieved. Just learn the leadership style. Don't just learn the leadership skill. Know how conceive a vision, how to communicate it, and then the ability to now influence people, in such a way that even from zero capital, or when the vision is at zero level, these people are able to commit themselves to the vision until it's achieved. So that was my takeout. And then I now told myself that, look, the other skill, there was a skill like I said I wanted to enroll for. I dropped all of them. My plan now is how can I improve my leadership skill, because it just dawned on me, like I said, if I can become the best leader I want to be, I will be like, is it Virgin? This man that have Virgin Airline,
Correct.
Different companies. How is he able to manage? How is he able to, to lead different experts to achieve certain results? And he is not an expert in that thing, right? So I just got to know that leadership is a skill. If you can perfect it, there's nothing you want to do that will be difficult. The ability to bring things together to make a vision succeed. So I'm coming back to Sprint too. I'm coming back.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And you are spot on. Leadership is everything. Everything rises and rests on leadership. Take Dangote of Africa, the richest man in Africa. He has always been selling commodities. Today, he has the biggest oil refinery in Africa and arguably the biggest single train refinery in the world. What has a commodity seller got to do, or a cement seller got to do with oil and gas? It's all leadership. With leadership, he's able to influence people from all over India, all over the world, America, everywhere, and they came and built the biggest refinery in the world in Africa, in Nigeria precisely. If you go way back to even the origin of oil and gas, take, what do you call it? The David Rockefeller. David Rockefeller too was a commodity salesman, but he ended up building the biggest oil and gas company in America. Same thing with Shell. All right. Shell, what is his name? Is it Michael? What's his name of the founder of Shell? Again, another commodity. He was selling shells, seashells, you know, simple commodities. But then he went into selling oil and gas, and before you know it, he built the biggest, one of the biggest oil and gas company in the world. You know, by the time they broke down, Standard Oil, that's the company started by John D. Rockefeller, they broke it down into 34 companies, 34 different companies, including Exxon, including Mobil, including Total. All those companies came out of one man's company. It's all about leadership. So, I mean, when we say leadership, you are not learning one of those, you are not learning computer or learning one of those technical skills. No. Yeah, it's good when you learn those things. That's at the lower level. But do you want to be rich? Do you want to be great? Do you want to be more successful? We're inviting you to come up. Sprint. Sprint, come up. Let's show you the higher way. All right? And you can get it for so cheap. I mean, you are getting a Harvard level, you know, leadership training, all right, at as little as $100. All right. So the first level of Sprint is $100. Second level, if you're a supervisor or a team lead, you can get into Sprint at $200. If you're a manager, you can get into Sprint at $300. If you're a supervisor, a senior manager, you can get into your own Sprint at $400. That also involves traveling abroad. You can, if you are a general manager, director, you can get into Sprint 5, at $500, which also involves, it's a hybrid. It's both online and hybrid, so you also get to travel. And then, of course, at the CEO level, we have level 6 Sprint at just $600. And of course, that's just the facilitation fee. And then, of course, it's a hybrid too. There is a travel side too, because you have to go, we're taking you, I mean, you're going to be thinking globally at that level. So we're training you at that level. All right. So, and then we're bringing very senior faculty members to train you on your business, you know. So for those who completed Sprint 2 last time, that's the yellow belt. You can come in for your green belt now, which is a Sprint 3, that's for manager. All right. And you can see this Sprint 2 level person is already talking about owning any business in the world. What will happen when they come to Sprint 3? So there are different levels you can enroll for any level. But in Q1, we are rolling out Sprint 1 and 2. We've already rolled out for 1. People are already registered for 2. In Q2, we are rolling out Sprint 3. In Q4, we are rolling out Sprint 4. And in Q3, we are rolling out Sprint 4. And then in Q4, we are rolling out Sprint 5 and 6. Yes. Well, all this will be communicated from Monday. All right. The communications for Sprint will start going out live. So please sign up, recommend it to your HR. We sign up both individual and corporate. We already have a corporate organization that signed up all their managers. All right. So sign up. I mean, $100 is too small. All right. Some of the programs, our senior executive leadership program at level 6 is about $25,000, $35,000 in some schools abroad. All right. And I'm telling you, same content, same faculty. We have a global faculty. It's not Nigerians. All right, it's not just all Africans, whatever. We have faculty members from around the world. All right, so sign up. You will do yourself a lot of good. Like we said, step up. The last P is personal development. A 21st century leader must embrace personal development. Must embrace personal development. Must invest in themselves. And great organizations also invest in them. So if you are a leader of an organization, please sign up your group for Sprint, right? Thank you so much, guys, for sharing your experience at Sprint. And thank you so much for the knowledge share. So any last words? I think we're done. Any last words, Tama, before we draw the curtain on this segment?
Yeah, actually, it's a great opportunity for having this leadership training. Again, this session is very valuable, and it's not coming from Mars. It's logic, it's scientific, because you are expecting what's mentioned, what has been mentioned in this session, is that what's the role of a leader and what is expected from him to do. This implies the step up and the models, so that these are should be integrated together. These, let's say, small dividends from the step and the step up are when they are grouped effectively and integrated in a, let's say, scientific and well designed manner, the result is a highly effective manager with a leader, sorry, a highly effective leader with any missing, let's say, aspect from those factors, drivers, and competencies, then there is some weakness in the leader that he should know how to solve, how to collect from the high effective team that will integrate with him toward the common goal. That's why it's great to know our factors. It's great to master these factors and to compensate any weakness by learning and by formulating the high effective team members. Thank you. Also,
Thank you, sir,
for having me today.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. But before we leave, I want to throw the floor open to our participants. If you have questions, please go to the chat room and drop your question. And if you have a comment, we'll be happy to take it. Or if you are confident to turn on your mic and ask, please go ahead and ask. And we'll take the next 5 minutes to see how much question we can field before we leave. Yes. Anyone?
Hello, tops of the day.
Thank you, Dr. Okay.
Yeah, mine is. Thank you very much, Tama. Thank you very much, Dr. Gio. Mine is more of appreciation. It's quite inspiring, and that anyone that we can actually grow out of nothing. That is to say, to be relevant both in our office by joining such group. Thank you very much. I think I will relent extending this good deeds to others too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much for your comment. Thanks for the kind words. Someone said, Remy Kusimo, thank you for your lovely comments here in the group chat. And you said organizational leadership course at Harvard Business School online costs 2,500 USD. So this is value for money. Thank you. Thank you. This is value for money for sure. Thank you, Remy. We appreciate your comments. And honestly, go out there, go and check it out. All right, we're just trying to make it affordable, accessible, and available. All right, leadership that is affordable, or leadership capability development that is accessible, affordable, and available. And because Sprint is structured, it's a flexible online. Okay, so from level 1 to 3 is 100% online, and it's spread over 4 weeks. So your classes starts at 7:30 to 9:30. So it doesn't interfere with your work. You only have 3 classes in a week. Other times you do your own work at your pace. We have a platform where you can interact with your facilitators and everything, and you have support, all sorts, all right? And you live with tons and tons of materials, right? So it's very, very convenient. Very, very, very convenient. Leadership that is affordable, accessible, and available. Thank you. Someone said, whatever you pay for, you will value it the more. Correct? Correct. Yeah, people who pay attention, right? Click here to join the global leadership. Thank you. Okay. All right. So any other question, comments before we call it a day?
Hello, VC. Please confirm if you can hear me, please.
Okay. Yes, your voice is coming through. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. We have a question from Kesman, if I'm not mistaken. He was asking how he can volunteer as well. So maybe you want to speak to that.
Okay, so the director of TLC is in the room. So can I please ask that you speak to that, Mr. Rufus?
All right, Doctor, thank you very much for that very insightful section. And thanks to Tama as well too. I mean, great session tonight. And then so to Kesman, if you check the chat room, I've been dropping a link today where you can actually click to join us. We have quite a lot of programs on the Good to Great Managers Circle. And then we have this statement when we talk about the circle, that actually what we are promoting is quality leadership, you know, making the workplace and the world a better place. And just like a doctor has said today, who does that better than the leaders? So if you have good leaders, great leaders, you're going to have a great nation. You're going to have a great organization. You're going to have a great family, you know, when the leaders are well informed. And that is why the framework he has shared with us tonight, it's such a powerful framework that I will also encourage every one of us to please take out time to listen to the recording again. It's going to be online. You will see it. So like he has said, the Leadership Colloquium is actually a monthly leadership webinar that is hosted by Go to Great Managers Global Circle. We delve into all things leadership, you know, and then so we encourage every one of us. It happens at the last Saturday of the month, and then there are great topics that we've lined up for this year. So we would like you to please make sure that it's not just you alone attending this webinar. Please try as much as possible to share with people in your network. Try as much as possible to do that. And then, so please, to Kesman, please, we're also still looking for individuals also who are willing to volunteer to take some of the webinar topics. If you check our platform, or if you can also reach out to me as well too, I'll share the topics with you in case you are interested in taking any one of them. We have also announced this on the global platform, WhatsApp platform as well, calling for speakers who are willing to also come and share at a forum like this. It's a global forum with a global audience. So we would like to have you as a volunteer. So like we have said, there are still some positions within the global platform that is also still where we still need individuals, you know, to volunteer. So we are calling for volunteers. We are calling for volunteers. The Rising Star Mentorship and Coaching Network, we still need volunteers there. So Dr. Kesma, I like to throw that open to you as well too. We would like to have you around. The purpose of the Rising Star Mentorship and Coaching Network is just to cultivate that quality leadership through tailored guidance and mentorship. So we want individuals that will translate from good to great as managers, you know, building their leadership competencies. So the framework is already there, like Dr. Gio has spoken with us today. So we just need volunteers as well. So in that regard too, who will be able to play a very big one in that role. But please, at the end of every month, feel free to catch up with us here. We'll post all the programs we have, even the one for next month before the end of this week. You'll start seeing communications to that effect. So please feel free to join us. We're very open. So if you check the chat room, you'll see the what the WhatsApp platform there. Click on it, it will take you there, and we'll welcome you and show you hospitality. Thank you very much. Doctor?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Sir Rufus. Okay, so on this note, we would like to call it an evening. And I want to once more thank you all for taking time to be here tonight. Look forward to seeing you at TLC in February. Don't miss it. And I believe every one of you here are a member of the circle. And if you are not, I see a lot who have joined this night. Fantastic. Very good. Please join, volunteer, play an active part, learn, grow, and get promoted. That is why we exist. Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you, Tama, for a wonderful presentation and for your support. I appreciate you. Thank you, Kristen, for sharing, for bringing in that last minute testimonial. I appreciate you. And thank you, everyone who stayed through this session. We appreciate you all. Good night. Enjoy your weekend and have a lovely week ahead. Bye-bye.